So hello there. I'm just going to actually mute the audio because it's already getting on my nerves. And welcome to the cockpit of a 747. PHBFT to be precise. She's a, I've just got the external view. 747-400. Just wait for the textures to load. Now, it's the new KLM livery. Only different from the previous one because it's got that dip there. Also, fun fact about this aircraft, it's actually 747-400M, which means it's a combi, which you can see by this door at the back. So what actually happens is they'd use these aircraft on routes where it was a long range route, but they didn't have enough like passenger load to take only passenger aircraft. So what they'll do is about halfway down, they'll put like a wall inside the aircraft, and in front of that they'll put cargo. And behind they'll put seats on like that slide out, and they'll slide out that door. Also, it could be a convertible freighter, but I don't think they actually do convertible 747s. So as you can see, we're on stand Bravo 26 at New York's JFK Airport. Very pretty day. The weather's reasonably nice, not ridiculously nice. It's reasonably nice. I'm not going to try and get the average to connect because it doesn't want to. And we'll be going for takeoff from that runway over there. Methinks. Oh no, we'll go from that end. Or maybe even the place we landed on, which would be over there, which would be runway 13 right. You can see my New York City add-on in the background there. So I'm going to look away from that because that's going to kill my FPS and my VAS. I don't know how we're going to taxi towards it. Oh, everything's gone off. Oh no, it's back. Right, so what we need to do is look up here to the overhead and start switching things on. So, nav. Alright, that's done. Nice and complicated. Now just looking at the FMC. We've got it on an accurate line time, but we're going from KJFK to EHAM. The company is KJFK EHAM. No, E, not H. Zero one. Okay, it doesn't recognize co-routes. So instead, we're KLM45 Alpha. Departure is runway 13 right. And I'll get the flight plan up to get the rest of the information. I actually prepared the flight plan last night, that's why it's a bit like oops, sorry. There we go. So we're planning to take 55 tons of fuel on board. We'll just quickly initialise that in the... Actually no, we can do it in here, can't we? Please tell me this aircraft is metric. Is it metric? Yes, it's a metric. Menu. All the way out. I can't remember if you can initialise fuel in here, so I'm just going to have a look and see if you can. Yeah, of course we can. So just going to do a refuel. Just say total fuel. And we want... I said we wanted a release fuel of 64.98 so I'll just make it 65 basically. 65 tons. There we go, that's the aircraft refueled. That happened instantaneously enough. No, none of this system works, so we can go straight through to route, next page. So this is actually a route I got off a flight aware last night. it was this aircraft actually is about 10 p.m. Yeah, it's a Pt3 as I said. From 13 right. Activate. Next page. After Betty, we are going direct to ACK. So probably I did have an ACK transition on, but yeah. After that, we're off to going direct to Canny. These are all direct twos, by the way. And then it's November 139A to Porty. Well, that's awkward. November 139, would that work? No, of course it wouldn't. Alright, we'll just go legs. Yeah, it's literally direct to Porty. Now after Porty, it's actually a, what's the NAT, so we can input that right now. Let's see if I can remember how to do it in this aircraft. Hallelujah, it worked. Alright, now I literally know the format, so I'm just going to use that. It's 4940. This technically isn't an ETOPS flight because we've got 4 engines. As such, we don't have to conform to extended twin operations. Then it's 5130. I know why I didn't export the route, but yeah. How long have we got left on the ARS? I don't know what that means. 5130, 5320. So by the way, these waypoints are long lat waypoints. Oh, okay, random waypoints is what they're called by the crews. And that basically means that I've got to go to a random waypoint, or a pretend waypoint, at 53 degrees north, 20 degrees west. And before that we go 51 degrees north, 30 degrees west. So it's every 10 degrees we hit a waypoint. That's why they're so close to each other. Well, not so close to each other, but in a similar sort of position. There's actually no steps on this route whatsoever. And then it's Malot. It's Gisty. After Gisty, it's direct to Liffey. I actually flew over Liffey yesterday because I was doing a group flight with some friends. And Liffey's just off the east coast of Ireland. Then after Liffey we're back onto an airway. And after Liffey it's hopefully they'll start recognising airways. UL 975 to Malud. Yep, that's covered a large swathe of our waypoints. Then it's a uniform Mike 16 to Dolas. It's one waypoint, so I just say direct Dolas. and then direct to Lamso. Okay, we can then go back to Innisref. Now we're just going to get the GPS position and drop that in here. So you can see the IIUs. Yeah, we've got 5 and 6 minutes to go on most of them. So, what next? I've got the fuel's correct. Now just got to I'll check our gross weight because I haven't obviously reinitialized the payload. So our gross weight's 244.8. It's actually 244,750. But obviously I can't put 750, so I rounded it up to 8. Might. And of course it won't let me input 0 fuel weight, so 179.8. Reserves are set at 5 tons. Cost index, we've got 80 straight actually for a change. Flight level 370 will be the cruising altitude today. And then we'll go for the thrust limitations. We'll do 10% on each, and we'll use flaps 5 for the takeoff. Okay, apparently we can't use flaps 5 for the takeoff. So what are our other flap settings? Let's just do 20. And what I'll do is I'll get the V speeds from elsewhere because it's obviously not going to tell me them. So yeah. So guys, I'm going to thank you for tuning in. And what I'll do is I'll cut the video here. It's going to be part of the same video, don't worry. I've obviously got 5 minutes to go until everything else aligns, and I need to go and find the V speeds for a 747. So BRBs, folks, and see you in a bit. So guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. The ADIUs aren't aligned yet. It's about 4 minutes later in sim time. But what we are going to do is we're going to get the aircraft ready to go. So I calculated a V2 of 147 knots. So as you know, we just scroll V2 into here. Bog standard scroll lead method. Just literally, well, scroll. 456, 456, 457, 458, 147, there we go. We'll leave the heading bug centered. We'll go to initial altitude of randomly 10,000 because they use like a heading vector they'll give you coming out of these sorts of airports. It's weird. Even the pilots think it's weird, so I'm not the only person who thinks it's weird. We'll start pressurizing the hydraulics by swinging everything into automatic. Your damper, that has to come on. That's gonna, well, where is your damper again? I'm literally just going through like the list of things on here that's down as being not working. So auto start, that's off because the engines are off. Auto brakes, they're off because we haven't started those yet. Your damper, that's above my head. Trim air's off on the right, I think. IRS has still got less than a minute to align. Alright, so we can set auto brakes to RTO. RTO. I've actually decided during the interim that this is going to be like a little bit of review of the aircraft. So yeah, if you don't know whether you want to buy it yet, etc. Seatbelts all going on. The cockpit door is locked. Again, the systems modelling is very nice, but yeah. I hesitate to draw comparisons, but I kind of have to because that's the only way I'm kind of going to get us anywhere with this. Packs go to normal. We'll pretend the passengers are boarded and we're just waiting for clearance to push. This can all come on. Yeah, but as I say, you know, it's just kind of, I hesitate to draw comparisons, but I have to because otherwise, you know, I can't really talk about it much. But yeah, comparing this to the 747 by PMDG, the original one, because obviously you may be watching this after the version 2 comes out, I actually quite like this compared to the version 2, sorry, compared to the version 1, because I can control, you know, it's the next level up in terms of what I can control from in here, because I can say I want ground power plugged in, you know, that kind of thing, and that's what I like about this. And you can see the departure's pretty weird and wonderful. So what we'll do is we'll just put, I think it was one of my headings 1, 3, 4, I think. Oh. Yeah, but we'll stick that much in. That looks about right. Okay, so AIUs are aligned. Hydraulics, they're not going to pressurize fully until obviously we start engines, which we can do now. So, abnormality of the 747, we can start 2 engines at a time. So auto start, ignition, and I'll just start engines 2 and 3. Whilst that's ongoing, I'll press Shift P and 1 to get us pushed out. So apparently I've done something wrong here. Yeah, I haven't turned my packs off properly. It's going to be the main one. So 1, 2, 3, off. Apart from that, the ignition system is running, right? Also your damper. If I just put fuel on, will that do it? That turns a bit rapid. I'm going to have to check that. Also, beacon. I'm just going to look at the overhead now, because that's the easiest way to review what buttons you've pushed on here. Yeah, there's no fuel in any of those tanks. I know what I've done. Shift P. I'm just going to cancel the pushback because I feel kind of that, yeah, I'm being pushed through tonal buildings, etc. Which I was at the time. So you can see where we are. We're just going to taxi off down here because we've started 2 engines, so we can taxi on 2. Then turn right and backtrack down that runway, literally just down to the end there. Not a massive taxi up, but not a particularly short one either. Come on, please don't crash on me, Sim. Nothing's changing on the screen. It's the sim has actually crashed, I think. Oh no, we're back. We're just at excruciatingly low FPS right now. So parking brakes released. Let's go. Hang on, let's not go because the engines aren't on. Awkward. The fuel's on, so the engines are starting now. So yeah, that was the problem. The problem was that when I was starting the engines, I didn't actually put the aircraft into. Well, I didn't open the valves to let the APU bleed move out towards the wings. So it wasn't the packs; it was the APU. I know I put the fuel on far too soon, but I just don't know. I didn't know at the time if it was like in the 777, where you just literally put them immediately straight into on mode, you know, to starting up, and then they control themselves. But it hasn't broken the aircraft, so I ain't gonna complain. However, we're gonna have to power some things down once we get these engines going. That looks like a good start to me, but obviously I can't tell until I look up here. Yep, we can now start 1 and 4. This is where having a first officer would come in handy, but I'll just stick the fuel on. There we go, we can deploy flaps for departure. And we can taxi. So just going to select a bit of power. I'm going to be very careful with the aircraft because I know I was watching or reading an incident report a few days ago about a 747 of a large German carrier that had a flight control problem. Well, not a flight control problem, but it basically came into the stand on 2 engines and had to do like a U-turn to get out of the stand, is what it looks like. And basically, this jet blast took out the some of the passenger. Keep forgetting that's not my key binding. Yeah, it is so discerning when it's your first flight on one of these as well. Just before I get too distracted, and you see the wing bouncing up and down like that, and that's just like in normal airflow. Sorry, as I was saying, and it basically did like a U-turn into stand, and its jet blast broke the windows on 3 passenger buses, injuring about 30 people, sending them all to the hospital. So it's I know it's being ultra realistic, and I'm not ultra realistic in a lot of my other things I do, like the fact that I forgot to turn the taxi light on. Just turn off some taxis. I'll turn the APU off as we get to the hold because I think that the extra pressure from the APU is helping the engine start just that little bit quicker. I mean, the flaps still haven't deployed yet to take off, so we can't. By the way, I did use TopCat to get my V-speeds. I did just put some random combinations of numbers in, just for those of you wondering. Prepare for the FPS drop as we turn that way. Control space. There we go. Alright, so we've drained the centre tank fuel. I'll just get rid of that as well. As we turn on. When you arrive at the hold, that's one of the things I'll turn off. Because I turned the centre tank pumps on just to scavenge all the fuel out of there. And I just need to turn those off because if you leave them running, they basically ruin themselves. As far as I'm led to understand. Normally they automatically go off though. So I'll just take them off now actually, because it's not much of it. Yeah, you can see I'm just on these 2. And also the stabiliser tanks appear to be empty. %, and one on both on all 4 engine, which is good. That's going to be idling. I've never actually flown the 747 for so long. No, my voice broke there. But I'm going to get not the PMDG, the PMDG MD11 reinstalled once I do this flight, and I fancy getting a trip in that as well. There's an aircraft parked over there. I didn't realise we had statics because I'm flying this offline for those of you wondering. I don't think it took. It's a lot Dreamliner. Yeah, the design company that makes this scenery are from Poland, so I'd imagine that's why I got the Dreamliner. By lot, no other aircraft anywhere else on the airfield. Just a casual lot 787. They do JFK though. They do. I'm going to do a seeing flight around around New York at some stage. I did it one in a helicopter in X-Flame, but I didn't record it. Kind of regret not recording that because it was one of my favourite ever flights in X-Plane because that's what I did it in. So New York controller was on, and I was talking to him. I had LaGuardia at low level down Manhattan, landing, checking, going, "Hi, it's November 453. We're on box. Thanks for the service. Goodbye." Someone's taking. Oh, it's getting hot in here. Copper's taking his shirt off. But sorry, guys. Yeah, we are backtracking for departure, as I say. We landed on this runway when we came in from. Where did we come in from? We came in from Wajibaduba, of course. DCA, Washington, in the 737-800. and we did the river one, the one of the visual approaches. I'm going to stop doing the visual approaches because they're becoming a bit unrealistic, because you know, I'm doing so many of them. When we land into Amsterdam, it'll just be a bog standard boring ILS approach. I'll just get the flight controls page. I don't actually have a flight control page, so it'll probably be in stats or something. I've got flight controls on it. No, it doesn't. So I'm just going to try and work out what the flight control page is. This one. So quick flight control check. Full back. Full forward. Full left. Full right. And we'll do a rudder check at the hold, but the rudder so far seems to be doing perfectly. Do full left. Full right. Yeah, that worked. They wouldn't normally do that on the fly because that's quite a steep turn. And if you've got the cabin crew doing a safety demo, which I know they don't do on these things because they've got the screens to do them with, you know, that would kind of send cabin crew flying, which isn't a good thing to do, apparently. So we've actually burned 800 kilos of fuel since startup, which is just crazy in my opinion. Now before I forget, looking up to the overhead now. APU goes off. Packs go on, well, auto. And we'll enter from this whole point. We could enter from the end, but there's really very little point. Sorry, there's not no point, but there's a little point. So remember the nose wheel's behind us. Also, I'm just going to put the clock on because estimated time en route. Well, what I took the aircraft that actually did this was 6 hours and 3 minutes. Just turn the audio on. Yeah, my trim needs to be sorted out a bit. That's about the right airing. Because if you don't, you know, and the smaller aircraft, the trim doesn't really affect them much, but in this thing, it's enough down pressure to keep the elevator unaffected for about 200 knots, and then that's when takeoffs start getting scary. So we're clear on the approach. Enter the runway. KLM45 Alpha, clear for takeoff. Runway 13 right. Everything works. So throttle's about 40%. We'll do this rolling, by the way, because we don't want to crumbs. Do it rolling because we don't want to actually break the aircraft by ingesting FOD. That's thrust stable. There's the thrust limitation. Now go, what throttle's that? 60 knots. 80 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive, right? Gear up. Level LNAV. That's a bit peculiar. It's telling me I'm at the end of my route. Yeah, we'll stick the autopilot on right now because they would take heading at bugs at this stage. Now LNAV could work now. It's just re-recognised the route. LNAV, VNAV, autopilot left. Crumbs, stall. That was mismanaged on my part, not the aircraft. There you go, commando left. That was a bit of a mismanaged manoeuvre. But the aircraft got control. I didn't turn the TCAS on, the aircraft's right. We are the only people in the world, so it is not much of a deal at all. We can clear the end route, and okay. So that's pretty much all I can talk to you about. We can go flapless, which is a good thing. Alright, don't even ask me, I was going to go to flaps 1 perhaps. Now, since that's happened, I'm just going to book the altitude up to flight level 170. I'll go straight 370 actually. This is obviously my first time actually in the 7.4. This is one truly is my first time. I actually sat down and it made sure it installed correctly, and that's it. .370, there we go, that's good. And it's in VNAV, so I can actually take the headset off now. And what I can do is end the video here, and I'll see you guys back out. It'll be about 6 hours for me, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to do it as 1 or 2 videos yet. I'll decide. I'll probably do it as 2, but I may not. So after it goes black, then you're okay to leave. You may suddenly see me arriving in Amsterdam.